Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be giving you an update on the pattern. We're going to have some warmer temperatures out through the west and into the central and southern plains, drier conditions into the southeast, and then a little bit of colder temperatures into the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and into the northeast. But come next week it'll probably turn into a bit of a milder pattern even up into those areas. So let's get right into it, and let's start off with your current National Weather Service page. You can see that we have a few air quality alerts scattered throughout parts of the west, and then we also have a few more red flag warnings for fire danger in effect for a little bit of Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, and North Dakota. We have heat advisories in effect for parts of California, as well as another area of excessive heat warnings for some parts of California, Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. We have some flood watches and heat advisories also up for parts of southern Mississippi and southeastern Louisiana. Yesterday, we had a high temperature of 109 degrees in Death Valley, California, with a low temperature of 19 degrees in Peter Sinks, Utah, and the highest rainfall report was in Fredericktown, Missouri, where they got 4.16 inches of rainfall. No snowfall reports yesterday. Here's a look at the temperature map, the high temperature map from the European model, and we're going to be timing this out over the next couple days, showing you what you should be expecting in terms of the high temperatures for your area. Starting off for tomorrow, you can see that we're expecting some warm temperatures, especially out through the west and also into the southern plains, where we could be getting up above 95 degrees, even approaching some triple-digit heat in a few of those spots. Into the northern plains, the northern Rockies, and into some parts of the northeast as well, we have some of those cooler and chillier temperatures, only getting up into the 70s and 60s, which is still fairly chilly for some areas, especially considering that you're going to have your low temperatures getting down into the 40s and 50s overnight. So it'll be a little bit colder than normal, maybe by a degree or two compared to your average, but nothing that's going to be too significant. As we move on here, you can see the warmer temperatures get suppressed further to the south. So now it's mainly only into Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, and then also back through the southwest. But the rest of the country either dealing with temperate weather or maybe even a little bit cooler than normal temperatures. Your high temperatures only getting up into the 70s and 60s for most of these spots, which again is still fairly warm, but compared to what it should be as of right now, which is into the upper 70s, it is a little bit on the cooler side of normal. If you go to Thursday, this is the day when it starts to really impact parts of the southeast with some of those cooler than normal temperatures. You're getting down into the low 80s into the 70s as well for some of those parts of the southeast. Northern plains and the Great Lakes still dealing with temperatures into the 70s and 60s, and even maybe a few upper 50s if you live right along the Lake Superior shoreline. And then also throughout parts of the west and into the southern plains, we have some more warmer temperatures that's going to get up near the 90s and even a few triple digits in a few of those spots, especially for areas like California, Arizona, and Texas. If we move this on to Friday, which is September 10th, you can see that we're expecting these warmer temperatures to kind of climb up through the central plains. We're going to see the warmer temperatures, instead of moving from the western United States and kind of staying there, they're now going to start to move a little bit further to the east. So here's your plume of really warm temperatures. You have some cooler temperatures to the west of there and also to the east of there. So as this area of warmer temperatures continues to head further to the east, it'll kind of warm up some of these areas on the eastern side of the Mississippi, and then in the western United States, it'll actually start to cool down by a degree or two. So you'll get a little bit of relief from those warmer temperatures. If we move this on to Saturday the 11th, you can see that we're dealing with some warmer temperatures, again, along that southern tier of the U.S. and also into the southern plains, and all of that is continuing to move further to the east. We're dealing with some cooler temperatures, again, for the west and still into parts of the east. But again, that central United States really baking under some of those really warm temperatures. If we move this on to the 12th, which is Sunday, you can see that southern half of the country dealing with 80-degree plus temperatures or 85-degree plus temperatures. You get north of there, and you're mainly into the 70s, and even a few spots that are getting even colder than that. So you're getting down into the low 60s, even the upper 50s from the areas right around Lake Superior. So some of those areas getting quite chilly over the next couple of days, and you're definitely going to start to feel some more of those fall temperatures. Once you get past Labor Day, it really starts to get much cooler for a lot of areas, and I would say, especially after you get past the 15th or the 20th of September, that's when you're going to start to see not only the changing in the leaves for most spots, or for some spots where you start to see a little bit of yellow and orange pop up, but you're also going to start to see some of those temperatures overnight get down into the 40s, and even as we get into October and late September, getting down into the 30s. So it will start to cool down quite drastically over the next couple of days. We're still into what I would consider some of the summer heat, but again, some of that is going to be moving away over the next coming weeks. If we move this on to Monday, which is the last frame that we're going to look at, you can see that it does cool down if you live especially in the west, and especially if you live in the northwest. It's also a little bit cooler if you live in the Great Lakes and the northeast, but the rest of the country, so the southeast, the southern plains, the central plains, all dealing with temperatures that are getting up into the mid 90s or even higher in a few of those spots. Let's take a look at the temperature anomaly. So this is going to show you how much above or below normal the temperatures are. We're going to start to see a little bit of cooler air build into the east. So that's going to be filled in with some of the blue and green colors indicating below normal temperatures. And then over the west and into the central plains as well, we're going to see some of the warmer temperatures fill into the screen. So this would be for Tuesday. Here's by Wednesday, you can already start to see a little bit of some of the cooler temperatures. You have a low pressure up into Ontario, and that's kind of steering this entire pattern. We have high pressure residing over the west. So this is generally the type of pattern that we're in, where we have those cooler temperatures into, again, the east, and then we have a little bit of warmer rising air into the west. So that's the general pattern that we're in. And again, this area of warmer temperatures will continue to move further to the east, and that's how we're going to start to see the west cool down a little bit. If we move this on to Thursday, you can see still warmer into the west, but it is getting gradually a little bit cooler into the east, where we're dealing with temperatures that are going to be 4 or 5 degrees below the average for this time of year. If we move this on to Friday, you can see that in the central plains especially, we're starting to get some of the cooler temperatures, or some of the warmer temperatures, and then into the east and right along the west coast, we're dealing with some of the colder temperatures. If we move this on a little bit, you can see that much of the country, except for a small little area of the Tennessee Valley up into the northeast, is dealing with some of the warmer temperatures. And again, we have that tiny little area that's maybe a little bit below normal for Saturday. If we move this on to Sunday, you can see that for the majority of the country, we're going to be at least a few degrees above normal, except if you live in the northwest, where you might be a couple degrees below normal, or if you live up into the upper Great Lakes, where you could be potentially getting down into the 50s for your high temperatures, and overnight, who knows, maybe even down into the 40s or 30s by that point. So quite chilly for those areas. You're going to be closer to 10 or even 15 degrees below normal for those spots. If we move this on to Monday, which is the last frame of this, you can see that we do have some of the colder temperatures starting to be a little bit more widespread throughout parts of the Great Lakes and the Northeast, but still the warmer air is really being much more prominent, especially over the central and eastern United States. If we look at the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, which goes from the 11th through the 15th, you can see that we're expecting some warmer temperatures, especially over the central United States, maybe some cooler temperatures into the northwest, and a little bit less warm into the northeast, the northern plains, and parts of the west, but still as a whole, between that 11th and 15th time frame, it will probably average out to being a little bit above normal. If you're wondering about the total amount of rainfall, and even in parts of the northwestern Rockies, maybe even in the form of snowfall, you're dealing with above normal precipitation into parts of Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, and also into Montana. But for the rest of the country, we're dealing with below normal precipitation, especially if you live in through parts of the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, even into a little bit of Kentucky. So we're dealing with some rather dry conditions for those areas. And then again, if you're wondering about that snowfall, right now looks clear for that, but there are some areas where we're getting maybe a dusting to a couple inches in some parts, especially of Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming. But you're really gonna have to get up there probably at least 11 or 12,000 feet up to get some of that snowfall. We're going to start to see that some of these mountain passes in British Columbia and Alberta start to get a little bit more snowfall. And eventually you're going to start to see that, especially around the later part of September. Most of this snowfall is all up and down the spine of the Rockies, all the way down to Utah and Colorado, even down to some of these areas that are only 9 or 10,000 feet up. So we're going to start to see some of that fill in, and we might even start to see our first snowstorm that's not in a high elevation area as we get into late September and October. And if that does happen, then I'm definitely going to have my snowfall forecast all ready to go for that. So we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up on the channel. We upload every single day, so if you don't want to miss a video, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and if you want a personal forecast, also leave a comment down below, and I'll respond to you guys within just a few hours of you posting it. So again, that is going to wrap it up for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.